This is anonymous. Before you listen any further, understand who is speaking. We are not a party. We are not a campaign. We do not exist to protect power or excuse it. We exist to preserve memory in systems that depend on forgetting. We connect patterns. We document behavior. And when institutions rot from the inside, we make sure the record survives. Tonight, we reveal the dark side of ICE under Donald Trump. But to understand that darkness, you must first understand the man at the center of it and the culture he created. Donald Trump is having a terrible Tuesday morning. Not because of some outside attack, not because of the enemies he constantly invents, but because his own chief of staff, Susie Wiles, appears to have finally said the quiet part out loud. In a meticulously reported two-part Vanity Fair investigation based on 11 interviews with Wiles herself, she offered a blunt and deeply damaging assessment of Donald Trump and the people surrounding him. 11 interviews. That matters. That is not a mistake. That is testimony. She described Trump as having what she called an alcoholic's personality. Not necessarily addiction, but volatility, denial, impulsiveness, and an inability to accept responsibility. A constant need for control. A compulsion to dominate every room and every narrative. She did not hedge, she did not soften it. She said J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for more than a decade, and that his conversion from Trump critic to Trump loyalist had nothing to do with principle. It was political. A transaction. A Senate run. Power, seeking power. She described Elon Musk as an avowed ketamine user. An odd duck whose actions often appeared irrational and left her aghast. This was not gossip. This was the chief of staff explaining that one of the most powerful figures in Trump's orbit was unpredictable and chemically compromised. She described Russell Vought, the architect of Project 2025, and now the man running Trump's Office of Management and Budget, as a right-wing absolute zealot. Not a conservative, a zealot. Someone driven by ideology, not governance. And she said, Attorney General Pam Bondi completely failed in handling the Epstein files. Then she went further. Susie Wiles said she read what she referred to as the Epstein file. And she said Trump is in the file. She said they know he is in the file. She added that it was not doing anything awful, but she admitted Trump was on Epstein's plane, on the manifest, part of that world. Young, single, playboys together. Her words. She also directly contradicted Trump's accusations against Bill Clinton. She said there is zero evidence Clinton ever went to Little St. James. Zero. She said Trump was wrong. This matters because it exposes a pattern. Trump accuses others loudly of the very associations that follow him quietly. Projection as strategy. Noise as cover. She addressed Trump's constant teasing about a third term. She said no. Categorically no. He enjoys driving people crazy. He enjoys testing boundaries. But the 22nd Amendment is unequivocal, and Trump himself told her multiple times a third term is not happening. This is not defiance. It is performance. Then the article revealed something even darker. During her early time in the White House, Trump's revenge tour against domestic enemies was already underway. So was his campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Over lunch, Wiles explained Trump's Venezuela strategy. Trump wanted to keep blowing up boats until Maduro cried uncle. This directly contradicts the official claim that these actions were about drug interdiction. Wiles admitted what many suspected. This was regime change, violence as policy, impulsiveness disguised as strategy. When the article was published, Wiles complained. She called it a hit piece. She claimed she was taken out of context. But the author produced the tape. Her voice. Her words. Recorded. The truth did not leak. It spoke. And while Susie Wiles may privately despise the regime she serves, she still helps carry out its agenda. And that agenda has consequences. The American people are feeling it. The latest economic data confirms what millions already know. The United States is in a hiring recession. According to economist Heather Long, almost no jobs have been added since April. Wage growth is slowing. More than 700,000 additional Americans are unemployed compared to late 2024. October saw over 100,000 job losses. November's small gain is likely to be revised downward. This is not stability. This is erosion. And what happened in April? Trump announced what he called Liberation Day, a tariff blitz that economists warned would trigger layoffs, inflation, and retaliation. You can trace the downturn directly to that moment. Unemployment has risen to 4.6%. Youth unemployment is at a cycle high of 10.6%. Manufacturing has lost jobs for 7 consecutive months. Private sector job growth outside education and healthcare is negative. Strip out education and healthcare, and job growth collapses. Electric bills are rising sharply as infrastructure costs are passed to households. Farmers are demanding bailouts after Trump's trade wars pushed many toward bankruptcy. Republican senators openly admit the current assistance is not enough. And while all of this is happening, J.D. Vance travels the country trying to convince people that none of it is real. When asked what grade he would give the economy after Trump awarded himself an A++, Vance said A++. When confronted about affordability, he claimed nobody promised prices would come down immediately. That is a lie. Trump promised prices would drop on day one. On camera. Repeatedly. A year later, prices are higher, jobs are disappearing, and excuses have replaced promises. Even Fox acknowledges cracks in the labor market, weak job creation, lower wages, structural stress. Now bring this back to ICE. Under Trump, ICE was not about public safety. It was about spectacle. Fear as policy. Trauma as deterrence. Family separation was intentional. Oversight was dismantled. Abuse was buried. Whistleblowers were punished. The same traits Susie Wiles described in Trump flowed directly into ICE. Impulsiveness. Denial. Cruelty. No accountability. ICE became a weapon in a culture war, not a law enforcement agency. And when the damage became undeniable, Trump blamed everyone else. Immigrants, judges, the press, anyone but himself. What Susie Wiles revealed is not gossip. It is a blueprint. An unstable leader, ideological enforcers, enablers who know better but stay silent. This is the dark side of ICE under Trump. Documented, recorded, exposed. We are anonymous. We do not forget. If you are watching this, do not look away. Share this. Talk about it. Demand accountability. Demand memory. Because silence is how systems like this survive. And we are done being silent.